I don't know if this is for you, but have you checked out the best up-and-coming secret in Southwest Washington? This cute little city is nestled just 17 miles east of downtown Vancouver, right up next to the Columbia River Gorge and located on the Columbia River. And this amazing city is called Washougal. Hi, my name is Cassandra Marks, also known as Realtor Cass. I am your local area expert to everything Southwest Washington, Clark County, Vancouver, Portland, and today, Washougal. So today we are going to jump on my desktop and I'm going to take you on a tour of everything that you need to know, all the cool places to eat, all the cool things to do, all the places to go in Washougal. So let's get going and jump right on over there now.
Hi, and welcome to our desktop. So we're here today to talk about Washougal, and it is located 16.8 miles to the east of downtown Vancouver. You can see it right here, just down Lewis and Clark Highway on down there. So some cool things about Washougal is, yes, because a lot of the Pacific Northwest, it does have history with Lewis and Clark. Lewis and Clark stopped on the Washougal River, which is right here. And they visited on their expedition, both out to the Pacific and on their way back. So it's got a little bit of history, but so much of the Pacific Northwest, specifically in this area, has history with Lewis and Clark. And right now, Washougal looks like it's a pretty small little city, and it actually is. So in 2020, the census said the population was right over 17,000 people. And compared to some of the other cities in the area, it is a little bit smaller. And also, if you take into consideration that back in 2000, there was about 8,900 people in Washougal. So it hasn't been growing quite as fast as other areas like Camas and Ridgefield. I know Ridgefield is growing hand over fist right now. But overall, Washougal is an amazing place, and it's so up and coming here in the Pacific Northwest in Southwest Washington. And I'm going to tell you a couple of reasons why today. So let's chat a little bit more about the city. As you can see, it is not super big. And as we're going through, a lot of this green space is trees and is in the woods. So it is kind of nestled up in this area. So we've got Camas and Lacamas Lake Park is right here. And then as you come over into this area, this is all the Lookout Ridge area. So down here along Highway 14 is very flat. And to the Washougal River is also pretty flat in geography. And then a little bit past it is okay. And then once you get back to the backside, it goes whoop. And the houses, so you'll have a road that goes like this. One house, you'll pull in the driveway on the main level of the house, and there'll be like a level below and a second level above. Most of the houses on this ridge are 3 levels. They have a basement and an upstairs. But what you'll find out is then the house on the other side of the road, you'll turn to pull into the garage on the other side of the road, and then there is 2 more levels above the garage because it's just that steep in that area. And so that area is right here. But Washougal overall, there's a lot of reasons why it's so up and coming and why it's becoming so popular. And I'm going to cover a bunch of them today as we go through things, but I want to take you on a tour of the town. So it's not very big. There's not a lot of roads. 14 is the main road. There's 2 roundabouts. There's one right here at downtown. There's one right here on this end of town. And then as you leave town, there's 3rd Ave that runs through. And then there is the Washougal River Road that runs up and up the Washougal River. So those are like the 3 main roads in Washougal. And as you want to do some things, there's some cool things right in town. There's some cool things really close by. And one of the really cool things close by is the Washougal Motocross Park. It is one of 3 natural terrain motocross parks in the country. And they have a lot of very high level championship series like the Lucas Oil Motor Series is here. So you'll see a lot of pro athletes that are in the motocross field come out and work here. And this is amazing. I grew up in Minnesota. One of my girlfriends, her brother raced motocross. So we were at the motocross tracks all the time. Super fun, super great for the family, super fun to just go and cheer someone on. So you gotta check it out while you're in town here. Next up, other things to do. Let's talk about some things in town. So let me tell you, if you are going to be in the Pacific Northwest and you do not own something from Pendleton, then you're just not quite there. I feel like every single person who lives in the Pacific Northwest need something from Pendleton. So we talked about the roundabout. So the first roundabout right here, there's the Pendleton store. There's a few of them. There's a couple in Portland, and there's actually Pendleton, Oregon, where they have the big main mill and everything. But it's Little Blue Shop here, pretty close to the little downtown area of Washougal, and they have some amazing items. I love their blankets. I love their store. So here's a picture of the inside of the store. They've got a bunch of blankets, they've got apparel. It's just an amazing place and have such great quality materials. So like these are some of the little lighter throws that they have, but they also have really thick blankets for your beds, everywhere from king to twin. Just amazing blankets, sweaters that are really beautiful. This is a towel poncho, so it goes over your head. It's got a little hood on it. I've got some friends that absolutely love these. But if you are going to live in the Pacific Northwest, you need to own something from Pendleton. So next up, other things to do in Washougal while you're here, because there's just not a lot of nightlife going on in town. But because Washougal is so nestled into the Columbia River and the Columbia River Gorge, which starts right about here. This is a little flat space, and then it goes uphill and into the gorge here. People have access to the waterfront, which I love. There's so many access points. So we've got the Port of Camas and Washougal right here. This is relatively low. So this is where they're doing the new river development, Highs Park. And it is a bunch of apartments. They have an amazing little children's nature playground where there's like areas to climb and play. And then there's a bunch of apartments here. They're also putting in retail and restaurants and all sorts. So they're basically making a really amazing waterfront right now. And I think that's one of the reasons why Washougal is so up and coming. So you get off here at Marina Way and you go down the road. A Street here eventually ends. There's a few houses that are lucky and get riverfront. Actually, I almost sold one of these a couple years ago and my clients missed out. I was so sad because it was an amazing house, and watching the fireworks from the Columbia River from here, absolutely amazing. And so I think that, you know, having access there, you can have access from this park. At Steamboat Landing, you can have another access over here at Cottonwood Beach. There's so much access to the water where, like, if you're in Camas, there's not nearly as much water access. A lot of it's private, and same with Vancouver. A lot of it's private, and a lot of it has really big cliff faces to get down. It's really easy to access the water here in Washougal, and I think that's why it's very popular. Other things, so then you can do your kayaking, your stand-up paddleboarding, your sailing, whatever you want to do. The other thing people love to do is they love to do that on the Washougal River as well. You can float the river in your inner tube, or you can raft down it or kayak down it. I actually had a friend that kayaked down it, and they ended up kayaking all the way to downtown Vancouver. Said it was fun. It rained a little, but they loved it. The other thing is you can, since the port is right here, you can book a fishing tour and fishing charters, tours, all that stuff. Really, really fun and exciting to do. So you can do steelhead, you can do coho salmon, you can do kokanee salmon, and you can even do sturgeon. If you have not seen a sturgeon before, you absolutely need to see one. It is like going back to the dinosaur age. It's so absolutely cool. And there's tons of different outfitters that you can book with if you want to do one of these charters. So that's kind of some of the like really cool things to do here in Washougal. And since we talked about that and started to talk about the nature stuff, I want to continue there. So some cool nature spots. Let's start over here on the end. We got the Steigerwald Lake National Wildlife Refuge, and this was put in place in about 1987, and they put it here because after they built the Bonneville Dam, which if I zoom out here and go down, the Bonneville Dam is way down here. So they had a lot of displaced animals and wildlife that needed a space. And so they decided to dedicate this area as a national wildlife refuge to help for a place for this wildlife to like have, since Bonneville was kind of changing the way that the river was in that area and down here along the Columbia. So they have that. There's tons of places to walk, paths. It's a really cool place. It's really flat. The water levels change up and down, obviously, with the tide and with what season, but it's a really cool place to go see a bunch of wildlife. Next up is the Sandy Swimming Hole. So it is located just up here on the back side. I would say mostly the back side off of Shepherd Road. And the Sandy swimming hole is located in a residential area and it's very popular. I will tell you there's only about 10 to 15 parking spots in the little parking lot out front, but if you can't get one of those and you have to park along the residential street, please be considerate of both the driveways, the people that live there, and their mailboxes. Honestly, like, it's a really cool place to go. I went here one day, it was like 104 degrees, and I was just like, oh, I gotta do some content. I'll go to the Sandy swimming hole. Well, next thing you know, it was 104. I don't even know why I was thinking that I should go shoot some content. And it was so hot and so sweaty, so I ended up just going home. But it was really popular. There was tons of people out and just enjoying the nice water available for them. So that is the Sandy swimming hole. And that's just, you can access it either way here. You can go up 3rd to Shepherd, or you can go up the Washougal River Road and go over. But I think when I parked, honestly, I ended up like down here and had to walk over to the swimming hole, which wasn't really far. It was like a block and a half. It really wasn't that big of a deal. So other places, another place that's not located in Washougal itself that I really, really recommend, it's 8.9 miles to the east, and it is the Cape Horn Lookout. It is right here. So as you drive up through this area, it's really windy. There's trees on both sides. And then all of a sudden, right about here, you come around the corner and the tree is split and there's a rock face on one side to the west of you, and to the east is this view. Absolutely gorgeous. One of my favorite places. There's plenty of pull-off space. It's pretty decent. You can take a look. So here's the bridge. Cars can pull off on this side. You can pull off on both sides, but the other side's a little sketchy. So I'd always do it when you're going east. So then you get off, and then this is the view that you have. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I totally recommend it. It's worth the 8-9 mile drive out there. So after the Cape Horn Lookout, I absolutely love Cottonwood Beach. And to get to Cottonwood Beach, you jump on 14. So here's where Pendleton is. This is kind of the downtown area. You go down one more roundabout, get off on 32nd. We're going to go down here, and we are going to park right along here on Index Street. So there's a couple little parking lots. They're not very big. They don't take a lot of cars. But when I was here on the 4th of July, there was cars parked on both sides of the road. The parking lots were full. There was people everywhere. And so one little tidbit about going to Cottonwood Beach is to find one of the entry points to the woods so that you can walk through the woods and get to the beach. So like we parked like right here, but there wasn't an entry point until like way down here. So we ended up walking around really far because we didn't know where we were going. But Cottonwood Beach is beautiful. As you can see, there was tons of people out there that day. There's a lot of space where you can just pull your boat up and you can paddleboard, kayak, do all sorts of things. This is one of the entry points right here that you're kind of looking for. So this little path right here goes down to the river. So you're going to walk up a hill from the road, walk to here, and this path right here is all paved. And then you go down here, and there's one path that is paved, one that isn't. The one to the farther to the west is paved so that you can get it out to the beach. But obviously once you get to the beach, it's not paved anymore. But I loved Cottonwood Beach. It was a really fun place to go and visit, and super big. So there's tons of space for people. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is Steamboat Landing Park, because you're going to get to the Lewis and Clark Heritage Trail, also known as the Columbia River Dike Trail. So it's right here. So Pendleton's right here. We're right outside of downtown. You're going to get into here, park at Steamboat Landing, and the trail is paved, and it goes down along here through Cottonwood Beach and continues all the way down here to the Stegerwald Lake National Wildlife Refuge. Very great, long path, really easy to walk, and it's just, you'll find a lot of people out there using it because, there's no incline, it's paved, it's nice, and it's a beautiful view all the time. So now that we've talked a little bit about some of the naturey stuff to do, the one last thing I want to tell you about is Washougal River Park. It's just up here. There's a little swimming hole. It's not too far from the motocross park, but it's a little out of town area. People like going. There's a little swimming hole with it. It's a beautiful, beautiful state park and well worth the hike and the drive up into the mountains because it's absolutely beautiful. So you got to do this as well if you are in the area. All right, now I want to talk about some food. So let's get into town. People love food, and I want to start with one. So I'm going to talk over 3 breweries really quick because it is some of my favorites. So first off, So we are on Lewis and Clark. We're coming in here. This is the downtown area. So we're going to start over here by the first exit closer to the marina. And we're going to start with Doomsday Brewing Company. Doomsday, awesome pizza, awesome beer, great environment. I mean, I had a client tell me about this place. Here's the inside. They told me about this place and the pizza. Some of my favorite pizzas happen to be the El Brado, the Code Red, or the Mayan BBQ pizza. The Code Red is a ranch-based pizza, like ranch sauce, not red sauce, ranch sauce, with chicken and buffalo sauce. Sounds really good to me. Love it. So Doomsday is a great place to start out. Other breweries around the area happen to be, there's one down over in downtown here. Come on, is it gonna pop up for me? There it is, Trapdoor. So it is right here. It is not too far from Pendleton. So Pendleton's right there. So we're right out in downtown. So Trapdoor Brewery also has great food, great recommendations, and amazing beer. People love coming here and love the vibe. So it is right in the downtown area. You get a lot of people sitting inside, but also it's got this great vibe outside. So it's just nice to be in the little itty bitty downtown area in Washougal. And last but not least, the third brewery that I want to tell you about. And it's a brewery with food trucks. And people love food trucks in the Pacific Northwest. Specifically, like if you go into Portland, I swear there's like 5 or 6 food truck cart pods, like food cart pods in Southeast alone. So they're like all over the place. They're super duper popular. There's a couple in downtown, just so many, but Ashwood Taps and Trucks. I love this place because you get beers at Ashwood Taps, and then they have a whole bunch of food carts outside, so you can choose tons of different food. You're not stuck with just one menu. So they have a bowl place. The other place here, and another great food place I want to tell you about, is the Pit Barbecue, BBQ. They've been around for about a year. Great ribs, amazing. They're located here at Ashwood Taps and Trucks. You've got to check them out. So other than breweries that have really, really good food, which is really surprising to me that Washougal has so many breweries with such good food. Usually it's like 1 or 2 here and there. It's like you go for either for the beer or for the food, not both. Other places that I love in Washougal, down here, as we go down 3rd Street and on our way to Camas, you're gonna find the K&M Drive-In. And this has been here since the 90s. And if you want a really good burger and amazing garlic fries, and then wash it down with an amazing shake, this is the place to go. Such amazing and delicious food. And not only is the K&M Drive-In in this area, but also one of my favorite is the Kokomo Espresso. And the reason I love this place, number one, is because it is woman-owned and woman-run. It is amazing. They have great drinks. Not only do they have coffee, but they also have amazing fruit drinks and energy drinks. So you have tons of different choices. If you don't want coffee, you can do an energy drink or a fruit smoothie or something like that. Always a great place to visit. So I think we've almost finished all of the food. So I know a lot of people use Yelp, and I'm gonna recommend you don't use Yelp for the last one, because I feel like it gets way worse of a rap than it should, because I've always had a wonderful experience. So last place I want to tell you about is called the Puffin Cafe. It is down on the marina, and I am a connoisseur of tacos. My husband and I absolutely love tacos. We love specifically fish tacos. I love shrimp tacos, but I will take tacos all the time. I love them so much. And they have here a mango shrimp taco right here. That is absolutely delicious. The mango slaw is so flipping good. You have to try it, but don't ever look at the Yelps of this place, because I think it's only got like a 3 out of 5 stars. Honestly, I love it. I don't think it's a bad place at all. But other than food, some other things that we might want to talk about is just, relatively, like, what's the shopping like in Washougal? Well, I'm going to tell you, it is mostly a bedroom community. So some things that you're going to find in the area will be, I'll get this to go away, this side panel. Most of the things you'll find is right here. There's a Safeway. Down here as well, there is a place called Bi-Mart. Bi-Mart's kind of got lots of things. everything from I typically go to Bimart for like canning jars and fishing gear, but they have food, clothes, you name it, they pretty much have it. It's a small little box store, but they've got a lot. For $5, you can get a lifetime membership. You get this little yellow card and they ask for it when you walk in the door. I'm like, I could just hold up a yellow like Post-it note and they would never know the difference. They don't check it at the register, but it's fun that they do that. And they have lucky number giveaways on like I think it's every Wednesday of the week. So if the last number the number they call it matches the last number on your membership number, you can get some sort of discount or a gift or something. I never really paid too much attention to it, but some people really love it. Other things that are in the area, there's a few hardware stores, maybe a Walgreens, but ultimately, if you're doing any large scale shopping, you're gonna find yourself traveling down 14 and over either to 192nd, which is right here, or 162nd, 64th right here. So there's like a Target up here, and a Kohl's, and a bunch of retail. And then up 192nd, you're gonna find a Home Depot, a Lowe's, a Costco, a Walmart. So your major shopping is probably about 15 minutes away up here. So other than that, the shopping, Washougal has a pretty good sized school district. They have actually 4 elementary schools, 2 junior highs, and a high school. And we can go over here on to niche.com. This is where I like to recommend and send a lot of people who are asking questions about school districts. So the overall grade of Washougal's school district is a C+. But you can see on here, clubs and activities, sports, they both have Bs. You're seeing some of the teachers, the admin, and the food is a little bit lower rated. But that's kind of not something that shocks me because the school district is growing and the town is growing. So there's some growing pains. But one thing that I do like to point out is that the classroom sizes are 20-1, which is fairly similar to surrounding areas like Vancouver and Camas. You're going to see about that 20-1 number when it comes to teachers. I know when I was in high school, there was a couple classes where they had 2 teachers in there and there was like 48 kids. It was insane. I came from a really large high school, so seeing 20-1 is really nice to see. But other than that, you can see that here's the 4 elementary schools. They actually do have an online learning academy as well, and that will go through middle school. You'll see it here, and also through high school. And since we're talking about high schools, I want to tell you about what is going on in Washougal. There's some interesting stuff. So you like Washougal, you like the price, you like the houses in Washougal, but you like the Camas High School. Well, you are in luck because you can live in one little section of Washougal, which this is the road right here, Crown Road, that goes up the road here. It goes up and wheels around and goes around the corner here. And then the Camas High School is located right here. So this section right here and everything that's being built right up here. So this is the top of the ridge. Right here is the ridge top. And then this is the flat portion. This is where a lot of the new build is going on. So all of these houses on Lookout Ridge Park and all these north side by Kingston homes, all of this is going to go to the Camas High School. So all these houses, this is where all these ridge drives are right here. They all have houses that, have that garage here, garage here. It's really, really, really steep face, but they're beautiful homes. They're spending a lot of time. They just opened this development up here, probably late summer, and they're starting to do all of this build. And they're going to continue to do that. So when you come up over the ridge, these houses might not necessarily have much of a view of the river. They have beautiful surrounding views, but this ultimately, like the ridge edge is right here, and then it kind of descends in height as you go back down to 303rd here. When it comes to housing in Washougal, there's a lot of different varieties of houses that you can get. New, older construction. You're going to find a lot of the older construction is going to be down here or along the roads as you're, like the Washougal River as you head out of town, or some areas back here by Heartwood Park. But there's a lot of new build too. A lot of the new build is right here on the ridge. There's a lot of new build going on up over here. There's even some new build like just down here along 14 in the stretch by the interstate. But ultimately, we're looking at a median home price right now of about $636,000. And that's a little bit higher than what Clark County's median is, which is about $530,000. But it's also, Washougal is a little bit more affordable than Camas because entry into Camas is probably well over 700,000 right now. If you want to look, we can talk a little bit more about numbers, but Washougal is right here. So this month, the average sales price was $633,700. And the median home price year to date here in 2023 is $636,000. So we don't have a ton of houses that are coming up. In these numbers, also keep in mind that new build is typically not counted. These are resale homes. New build has its own little snip on our market sales report. So it's been an interesting ride, but you can find just about anything. I think last year, the median sales price about this time last year was $630,000. So there really hasn't been much of an increase in price, but there hasn't been a decrease either. And that's especially good because our interest rates have gone up so much here in 2023 that we are seeing flat or maybe just small appreciation year over year, which is great.
So if you have more questions about Washougal, I do have a vlog right here. And in this vlog, we talk a little bit more about Washougal. And then we go and we tour 3 different houses in 3 different neighborhoods so you can see what you get in the area. And you know what? Maybe Washougal's not for you, but you're still being called to Southwest Washington. So regardless if that calling is happening, if it's in 9 days or 9 months, we should jump on a Zoom and chat over exactly what you're looking for, because I want to make sure you love it as much here as I do. So again, my name is Cassandra Marks, also known as Realtor Cass. I'm a farmer with a little real estate problem. And thank you so much for spending your time with me today. And until I see you again, bye.